Okay, guys, here we are again talking about time. Now, like we talked about yesterday, we named these two hands. And does anybody remember what each of these hands is called? And remember, I taught you a trick for this. So I'm going to pull out the pen here. Remember, I said this is the shorter hand, so it goes with the shorter word. So this is the hour hand. And then I said, this hand is the longer hand, so it has the longer word, and it is called the minute hand. All right, now while I finish writing this out here, there we go. All right, and guys, like I said, I apologize for the funky handwriting. This pen's a little hard to write with. All right, so you said the shorter hand is called the hour hand, and it tells us what? It tells us what hour it is. So if you look at where this hand is pointing, what number is this hand pointing to? It is pointing directly to the 8. All right. Now, when our hour hand is pointing directly to our number, what is the minute hand doing? We talked about this yesterday. If the hour hand is pointing directly at a number, the minute hand is going to be straight up to the 12, and that means it is 8 o'clock. Now, our minute hand is going to tell us exactly what its name says. It is going to tell us the minutes. And we talked about yesterday that those numbers on the outside of the clock correspond to minutes. Now, if you notice here, there are all these little marks. Now, I want you to do something with me. Let's count how many marks there are between the 12 and the 1. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get to the 1, which is 5. So, I mentioned yesterday that when we go from the 12 to the 1 to the 2, the 2 to the 3, etc., we are going to count by 5s. And as you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 hops in between each of these numbers. Let's try it with 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 hops between the 1 and the 2. That is why we count by 5s. So let's practice for a minute counting all the way around the clock. So it's 5, and I'll write while we do this. So it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and 55. And now we are back to our 12. Very good. And guys, like I said yesterday, I apologize for the funky handwriting. Just work with me here. All right, so let's practice. We go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and then we are all the way back where we started. All right, so like we talked about the first day, the hour hand is pointing to the 8. That means it is 8. And our minute hand is pointing straight up, so that means it is 8 o'clock. And the way we write that is like this. 8 dot dot 0 0. So the time shown on the clock right now, with the hour hand pointing to the 8 and the minute hand pointing straight up at the 12, is 8 o'clock. And that is exactly how we write it. All right, let's erase this and try something else. Now remember, we started yesterday with if I move my minute hand 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. My minute hand has gone technically 30 little hops so that it is halfway between, it's halfway around the clock, meaning my hour hand is now halfway between 8 and 9. But I want you to look here. Let me draw a little line here for you. Not the straightest line ever, but it'll be all right. Okay, so my hour hand, do you see it is exactly halfway between 8 and 9? But I want you to look. Has it gotten all the way to the 9 yet? No, it is technically still in the 8, and that is why it is 8:30. So, when my minute hand is pointing straight down, it's on the 6, and that goes with our number 30. If you look at a clock up on the wall, it should have these little numbers that coincide to tell you what minute it is. So, the way we write this one is 8 dot dot 3 0 because it is 8:30. Now, does that make sense to everybody? Let's try another one and we'll do some more practice here. All right, let me erase my 8:30 here. Let me erase the line I drew. All right, let's try another time. All right, so I'm going to put my minute hand back straight up. So it's 8 o'clock again. All right, now let's go around here. All right, now what number is my hour hand pointing to? Well, I'm going to look. Here is my hour hand. It's the shorter one, and it is pointing to the 11. My minute hand is pointing straight up at the 12, so I know it is 11 o'clock. And that is how I write 11 o'clock. 11:00. This 00 tells me it is 11 o'clock. All right, I'm going to erase this. All right, now I'm going to move my minute hand 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. All right, so now I'm going to look at my hour hand. It is halfway between 11 and 12. So it has not reached my 12 yet. So that tells me it is still 11. So now I'm going to look at my minute hand. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. My minute hand is pointing straight down to the 30. So I can say it is now 11:30. And this is how we write 11:30. Now, another way to say 11:30 is to say it is half past 11. Now, let me explain what that means. All right, I've said a couple times that when we go around like this. And I've said that when we go down to the 6, we have gone halfway around the clock. So that's why it's 11:30 is called half past 11:30, because technically you've gone halfway around the clock. All right, let's try another number. Erase all my drawings here. All right, let's do one more. All right, I'm going to move the hands. All right, now my hour hand is pointing at what number? It is pointing at my 3. And where's my minute hand pointing? My minute hand is pointing straight up to the 12. So I know it is 3 o'clock. And once again, this is how we write 3 o'clock. The hour hand is pointing at the 3, and I know when the minute hand is pointing straight up at the 12, this is how I show that it is 3 o'clock. Those 2 zeros means o'clock. All right? Now, erase what I drew here. All right? Now, my minute hand is going to go halfway around to here. Now, once again, my hour hand is halfway between the 3 and the 4, but it has not made it all the way to the 4 yet, so it is still in our 3. My minute hand has gone halfway around the clock and has gotten to the number 30. So I know this clock is showing me 3:30. Ta-da! All right, this is our second video on telling time to the half hour. Once again, if you are confused or you need some more practice, please let me know. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.